What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michael Borky. Appreciate you checking out this video. So Caesars has released their over-under win totals for the 2023 season for everybody, but we're focusing here on the SEC and specifically Ole Miss. Ole Miss sits at 7.5, over-under 7.5 wins. Let's pretend, for the sake of this video, they hit that over. They go 8-4. Would that be a success? Would fans find that acceptable? Let's talk about that. But first, I want to ask you to please like the video. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. I go live every Sunday, and then during the football season, I go live more often than that. Also, post videos throughout the week. So if you like what you hear, I'd appreciate you, again, liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. So 7.5 wins. And in recent history, a 7-5 season would be deemed kind of a success at Ole Miss. It's a program that, as you guys know already, no need to rehash that, doesn't exactly have a history of sustained success, but they have lately dramatically increased their investment in football. And with increased investment comes increased expectations. As you guys know, Lane Kiffin's salary is up inside of the top 10 in all of college football. He is just behind Ryan Day at Ohio State. That's right. Ole Miss is paying a football coach at the same rate, generally speaking, that Ohio State is paying theirs. Not to mention the support staff has grown dramatically. The recruiting budget has doubled in recent years. They're paying top dollar for defensive coordinator Pete Golding, a number that they have never paid a coordinator before. And of course, in the NIL sphere, Ole Miss fans raised money by the millions at the end of last season during the whole Lane Kiffin and Auburn thing. So Ole Miss is investing in football, even relative to their peers, more so than they ever have before. And that seems to have raised, understandably so, rightfully so, has raised the expectations for the program where it stands in recruiting and, of course, on the field moving forward. But what about this season in particular? Because, man, that schedule is tough. I mean, every SEC West schedule is tough, but Ole Miss's this year in particular is they got no breaks from the league with their schedule this year. So let's break it down. Here's a bit of an elementary way that I look at Ole Miss's schedule and the expected wins, the expected losses, and the toss-up games. So there are two games on Ole Miss's schedule where I think that they will be multi-score underdogs. We'll call them expected losses. I think there's two games where they will objectively be double-digit underdogs, multi-score underdogs, and that's at Georgia and at Alabama. There are 5 games where I think Ole Miss will be an expected heavy favorite, a multi-score favorite. The 4 non-conference games: Mercer, Tulane, Georgia Tech, Louisiana Monroe, and also Vanderbilt. Now, I think Vanderbilt's going to be a tough out for a lot of people. Maybe not Georgia, but they gave people fits a year ago. Clark Lee did a really, really good job. We'll do the other SEC teams later on this summer, but Vanderbilt's over-under total is 3.5. I love Vanderbilt's over there. I think they're going to be an improved football team again. I think they're going to be a tough out. However, in saying that, in Oxford, I think Vanderbilt's going to be a multi-score underdog when they play Ole Miss. So you've got 5 games left. There's 7, 5 expected wins, 2 expected losses. What do they do in the other 5? Can they go 3-2 in these 5 games? LSU, Arkansas, and Texas A&M at home, and at Auburn and at Mississippi State. Can they go 3-2 in those games? I think they can. Absolutely, they can go 3-2 in those games and finish the season 8-4. I know there's still some moving parts defensively for Ole Miss, and it is a new system. They're still working the transfer portal. Hell, they're still working the transfer portal offensively as well. But when you return a quarterback, or maybe you bring in a 4-year starter at quarterback, you've got Judkins back. They portaled well at tight end, and Michael Trigg is healthy again. I like where they are at wide receiver more than most people. Now, I think that they are actively trying and need to improve the unit, but I don't think it's as dire as some people think it is at wide receiver. They're very experienced on the offensive line. They should be explosive offensively and score points because Lane Kiffin's offenses are explosive and they score points. And when you get a good break with those games at home, your non-conference games at home, you get Arkansas at home, you get Texas A&M at home, that helps a ton when it comes to predicting Ole Miss's season and where they go. But to be honest with you, I am a little bit more focused on how it looks when thinking about this team and going into this season than I am the record, because the schedule is as difficult as it is. There's a chance that Ole Miss has the identical record that they did a year ago and are a better football team than they were a year ago. I am focused on, look, does the red zone offense improve? Does Prescore and the transfer tight end help them open things up in the red zone? They've got to get better in the red zone. That's going to be a talking point from me all summer about Ole Miss. Can they get better in the red zone? I'm watching that very closely because they struggled a bit last year. How is the quarterback situation handled? I mean, we saw it a year ago. It got kind of weird with one getting a start and the other getting a start, but everybody knew that Jackson Dart was better, and it was kind of a mess. How is this going to get handled? Because as of this recording, what is it? It is May 10th. As of May 10th, both Jackson Dart and Spencer Sanders are still on roster at Ole Miss. Could that change? I suppose so. But if it doesn't, you've got a kind of a balancing act on your hands. How does Lane Kiffin manage the quarterback situation with Spencer Sanders and Jackson Dart? How improved will they be on defense? They fired Chris Partridge. They paid his buyout. They pay big money to bring in Pete Golding. I don't expect that unit to be, dominant or anything close to that right away. But how improved is it? Because defensively last year, they were kind of a disaster in spots. Thinking of the LSU game in particular, where it just unraveled on them so quickly defensively. Will they be improved there? And then the most important thing that I'm looking for, and that I think a lot of fans like you are looking for, is how are job openings handled? What's November going to feel like when the Texas A&M job comes open? Or have you seen Florida's over-under totals? What if Florida comes open again? And as you know, in college football, jobs come open. What happens if Oklahoma struggles again? How is Lane Kiffin going to handle the coaching carousel this offseason? How is that going to go? Because last November, despite going 8-4, completing a 2-year stretch of 18 wins, which, as you guys know, doesn't happen very often at Ole Miss, and only 2 teams in the SEC have won more games over those last 2 seasons. But all of that's been clouded by how a job opening was handled and everything that came with that. Will that go differently this time? I think that will go a long way for fans' feelings on how the season goes. If they roll out an 8-4, again, identical record from last season, but the red zone offense does improve, and they are better defensively, and Lane Kiffin and the job openings thing doesn't go down like it does last November, fans will absolutely accept that record. At least I think they will, based on the fans that I talk to. They'll accept that record. That will be satisfactory this season, considering the schedule, if those things go better. Program management is as important as the wins on the field this season, in my opinion, and I think a lot of yours as well. However, if they come anything short of 8 wins, fans, and I think the administration as well, will wonder if the juice with Lane Kiffin is worth the squeeze. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I appreciate you, and I'll see you again on the next one.